Welcome back to another episode of Rooted in Purpose. For y'all who don't know me, my name is Christy. Welcome back. For those who do, who is most likely my family, so what's up, family? So my name is Christy, and basically Rooted in Purpose is for mothers. I'm just kidding. Mothers, wives, women, whatever you are, as long as you're a woman, hey, welcome here. If you're a woman of faith, even better, because this is where we talk about God. So today is actually a vlog about me going to a wedding, and we're supposed to go there at 4:30. But we had to go and drop off our little one to the babysitters, which is, a family, Pop-Up and Gigi. They always do. They're so sweet. They literally took out time from their busy schedules, and Gigi, which is like her grandma, she literally made sure she made all the arrangements to leave work early just so she could watch her. And I am so grateful because she is only 7 minutes away from the venue. So if I need to go back to my child, I could run there within 7 minutes and I'm good. It's better than them being like 2 cities away. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know what I'm going to do with my hair. I don't know how much time I have, but my daughter is actually sitting down on the bed. I don't know how long that's going to last, so we're going to find out together. But this vlog is basically going to be about me going to the wedding and trying to get ready and see what that looks like. For all of you guys who came back after last week, I did cut my hair a little bit more. I wanted that V shape, but it ended up being a circle. It's a U shape. But it's okay because it's still tall. It's pretty long. Like, if you guys can see, it's pretty long. I just wanted to make it a little bit more, rounder. Because, I only had that one little string in the middle to make it that V shape. But it's not even that big of a deal, honestly. So it's okay. So what I'm going to be doing for my hair is I want to curl it. But I want to put it up in a way where it's actually going to look pretty for a wedding. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. I don't know how long that's going to take or whatever. But that's why I'm starting early. It's still 10 a.m. My husband is at work right now, and he should be getting off around 12. And once he gets off, he's going to wash his hair. Are you okay? She's fine. She's playing with the remote. Her daddy don't let her do that, so she should be having fun. Anywho, for those of you who don't know my husband, he has long hair, so he takes, if not as much as me, a little bit longer to get ready. Dude, that's why I'm trying to get ready first. At least the hair. I don't know. I think I have an idea what I'm going to wear. Because he wanted to wear something more fancy. And let's be real. He doesn't understand that our fancy is not everybody's fancy. Like, we're like Met Gala fancy. And he was about to pop out one of my slit black cute dresses, but it's not one of those type of functions. I don't want to come out like that because I already talked to the bride and groom, and they're from the church, and they're like, think our church on Easter. And for all y'all who don't know, my church are like jeans and a t-shirt like this, and jeans would be good. So when you want or go to church on Easter, it's like a basic thing, This bathroom. I'm in the bathroom and this toilet stays making noise. Like, I don't understand. It's okay. Anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do my hair. I saw a few tutorials, but I don't know. I know that I'm trying to make it look fuller. So we're going to see. And I have a few, rubber bands here so we can see what's going to happen. I'm trying to make it look fuller, curled, and all this extra stuff. So last week was a hair tutorial. I don't know if it's going to be a hair tutorial today, but we're going to find out. So I'm just going to let you guys see the process, and then when I feel like I got something going on, I'm going to come back and talk to you guys. Okay, guys, so I had to do it a couple times, but I had to get 2 rubber bands in here because it's like the elastic ones. My daughter is having not the best time. As you can see, she's over there. Oh, I think she hit the door. You okay? So, what's happening is, I'm trying to do my hair. At least, put it up where it's ready to be curled. I put her in her walker, so that way she can, be more mobile and see me. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm really trying not to breastfeed her right now. For all you guys who don't know, I'm a breastfeeder. That's funny. Yeah, I breastfeed, so my thing is I'm trying to let the girls replenish its supply. So that way I can have it pumped out and give it to her Pop-Up and Gigi so they have milk on deck. We're going to hopefully see what we can do. I was really hoping that she's going to be okay, but she's not. So I might have to put her to sleep. unfortunately. I'm gonna see what I can do without breastfeeding, but see, she'd be doing some interesting stuff. She'd be touching the walls. She'll be fine for like 2 seconds, then she goes haywire. I'm gonna hopefully put her to sleep. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that now. And then I'll get back to you guys to show you guys what I'm gonna do with my hair. Wish me luck. Literally, I put her to bed, and it was funny because I had to give her my breast milk. So she didn't want my breast milk. What she really wanted was a pacifier, but she doesn't want a pacifier. She wants to use me as a pacifier. So I had to use my left side, so that way I didn't have to worry about my right side not having enough later on for me to pump. So when she's at the, Pop in Jesus' house, she'll be fine. She's up now. She only would sleep if I let her continuously on me, and I'm not trying to do all that. For those of you who don't know, me and my husband got married back in 2022, but it wasn't like a traditional wedding, which, it's always been our dream to have a nice big wedding. And we didn't want to get married until we knew we had the funds, but it's amazing how God has plans that we're not aware of, but he's like, this is what you're going to do. We're going through a financial struggle at the time, and actually, believe it or not, our marriage wasn't even planned like that. We ended up having some situations arise, and we weren't seeing eye to eye anymore when we were living together. And yes, we were living in sin. You scared me. Okay, all right. Okay, you're gonna call mom here. There, okay. She scared me because for 1 second I thought that she was on the bed, and I forgot that I put her on the walker, and then I heard something fell, so I thought it was one of her toys that fell from the bed, but it wasn't. It was just her pulling on the baby monitor, and it fell. And then I saw her on the floor, well, not on the floor, but her baby walker, but I had to register that she was in the walker. I thought she fell. It was so scary. Yes. Mommy can't take you right now. Mommy can't take you right now. Mommy got work on her hair. Mwah. Okay. I have shorts underneath, by the way. Like, I really do. It's just really oversized shirts. One thing you'll learn about me is I love to stay in shorts in the house because for some reason it gets hot. Anywho. So me and my husband were having problems at the time. And it was getting so bad to the point where I was thinking about leaving. And at this point, we were just churchgoers. We were just Sunday goers. We weren't serving. No one knew us by our name or anything like that. That being said, we're having problems. We were living in sin. We knew each other from 2009. Yeah, 2009, because I came to Virginia to, hang out with my family, and then I'm cousin with a mutual friend, which was his sister. They were best friends, my cousin and his older sister, and then we were partnered up. That's a whole story for another day. That summer we hung out. He had a fat crush on me. I didn't really care for him. It didn't really matter. At the end, we ended up, 11 years later, just being together. There you go. Good job. Being a mom. Busy. Ooh, okay. So yeah, so we were planning on, I was planning on leaving him. It wasn't fun at all. We were both just really in a different place because the first year of our, relationship, we were having fun. A pandemic was happening. Me and him were long distance for 6 months. And then, because I was living in Vegas at the time. And I ended up having a promotion on my job prior to us dating. So I was a manager on the Las Vegas Strip. And because I was a manager, I was making a pretty decent salary, and I was able to do a lot of flying back and forth. But then the pandemic hit. So me and him decided, okay, the world's ending. Let's spend the last, whatever world ending days together. So I bought him a ticket to come out to Vegas. And 2 weeks after that, I went back to Virginia with him. And for 6 months, we were flying back and forth during the pandemic, and we were just having fun. Following year, we went to a cruise with my family to Mexico. We went zip lining. So we were living a life. We were partying together. We were just living in sin, drinking, smoking, doing everything we could. We as young, dumb adults do. That being said, fast forward, life started to hit when I left my job and I moved to Virginia. And then we ended up, I was still getting money from, the pandemic, they kept giving you that money. Forgot what it was called, so long ago, a whole nother life ago. But I was still getting an income. And then after that, money started dwindling, and I already knew he and I were just having just really hard financial struggles. So we didn't have any type of income coming in at the time. He was making like whatever money he could to make the house run as much as he could. And after that, I don't know, there's some family struggles that was going on, and I'm not going to really talk about that because we moved past it, but in-laws, right? But we're cool now. But that caused he and I to get into a situation. This is why it's really important to know you shouldn't live with somebody if you're a person of faith, unless you're married, because you're doing the things that God has intended for you in the future to do it now. So you're kind of stealing from the future. So it's like there's a tree in the future and it has fruits. So you like go into the future, bring the fruits to the present, enjoy in the present. Now when the time for the future is here, that time has come. Now there's no fruits on the tree. So you can't enjoy it because you already enjoyed it before. That is the point in time that God had already had for you. That being said, we ended up being in a situation where I was like, I'm about to leave you. I was going to get my plane ticket. I was telling my mom. I was coordinating. I was like, I'm out of here. It was really bad. We were toxic. And shortly after that, I think it was that Saturday, we fought all night. Like, it was really bad. And the morning of it was Sunday, so we both had our cars, and he was going to church. Like, do you want to go with me? I was like, I don't want to go with you anywhere. So he went to, by himself to church, and then I took the car and I went by myself. Again, no one knows that at church at this time, but we have been going for about a year or 2 years on Sundays. Fast forward a little bit more, he ended up sitting next to me when I thought it was like, someone new, and I was like trying to put my face on like, because I was already unhappy. It was him, and I was like not having it. I was like so mad during the whole sermon. I'm just like, I couldn't even hear the sermon. I didn't even want to look at him. I was repenting in my mind. I'm like, I'm so sorry, God. Like, I cannot pay attention to your word. Little while after that sermon was over, he pulls me into the party with the pastor rooms, which was basically this glass and closed doors. And you go in there, you meet the pastors if you're a first time guest. He forced me in there. He grabbed me by the hand and pulled me in there because I was like, nah, I'm done. Like, I already looked up my tickets and everything. Like, I was going to be out of there. As we were waiting for the pastor, he ended up not realizing we were there. So he was walking away, and my man was not having it. He ran to that pastor and said, Pastor so-and-so, we've been waiting for you. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Brings him in, and he's like, okay, go ahead and, let me know what you need help with. And he's like, well, can you pray for our relationship because it's just not working out? And he was all, my pastor's for this different pastor, right? He's like a financial pastor. He's like, y'all invited me to your problems. So are you guys married? And we're like, no. I was like, you guys living together? Yes. Obviously intimate? Yes. He was like, well, you can't expect her to do the things that you want as a wife to do to you if you're not going to make her wife. And I can't bless your marriage, I can't bless your relationship. I could pray for it, but it doesn't matter because you guys are not married. So like there is a back door that the enemy has a foothold on. Like he can open the door and he can have his way with you because you haven't brought this relationship to God. You haven't brought this relationship to him to be like, God, this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. I want to make a covenant between you, me, and my spouse to be, and be like, this is a promise where I'm making before you and God. And then that's when God can bless our marriage. But because you didn't do that, the enemy got a way in from the back door. And my husband was like, look, we're broke. Like, we can't really afford a wedding. We really want a grand wedding. Like, of course we want to get married and this and this and this. He's like, heard it all before, but listen, I got married with my wife, he said, when we were 17, I think he said, in their kitchen. And it wasn't until like 15 years later they had their own grand wedding, but they wanted to live right with God, so they went ahead and they got married. So he had offered us to get married, and in the back room basically, and he was like, just tell me what you guys want to do, and if you guys decide to, I'll do it for free. So it was like one of those situations. It wasn't like, oh, this is the right time. It's never the right time. Moral of the story is, when we got married, it wasn't a traditional way. But, later on we got proposed and all that extra stuff. I'll tell you that story later. However, our story of getting married was not like how God wanted us, where we were just dating, courting, not living together. And, I learned a lot. And it wasn't until after marriage I was like, oh, this is why God said don't have sex before marriage. Oh, this is why God said don't live with a man until you're married. Like, oh, okay, because we were playing house. and we weren't married. So by the time we got married basically not through just the court, but it was a very intimate setting. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that story for another day. But it just makes me think back about when we got married, and when I'm thinking about their marriage, because we didn't have the grand wedding that we wanted, I'm like, oh, I kind of really wish that we did. And my husband till this day said, we're going to have one. And I was like, you mean we're going to have a renewal of our vows? Most likely. It's like, yeah, but by then we'll have our money straight. We'll be good. We'll have all our kids. Like, it'll be like a whole celebration. So I'm very happy for the people who are getting married, our friends, because they did it right. They dated, they worked together, they went to college, they graduated. So I really feel like they did it right. In my personal opinion, I think that's the way it should be. That was a whole long tangent for no reason. I'm going to go ahead and try to do my hair and try to feed my daughter some blueberries. So I'll be right back with y'all. Okay, guys. So now that I'm getting ready with my hair to be like, curled, I'm going to go ahead and put some heat spray in my hair. So yeah, this day is going to be really exciting. Like, I feel very, very excited and blessed to be a part of this wedding. Not part, but be a guest at their wedding, because, it's going to be a beautiful, I think it's like a barn type of, not theme, but it's going to be like in a barn setting, which, it's going to be nice. It's going to be around 4:30, so I'm excited. I can only imagine what they're going through. I'm kind of happy that I didn't have a big wedding in the beginning, because I feel like I would have been so stressed. I'm gonna stress about everything. Family, friends, everyone doing what they gotta do to get ready. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Yeah, this wedding makes me think about our wedding day. And honestly, our wedding day was very simple, very short, very sweet. We had only a few friends at our wedding. Even my family wasn't there. And it was a long way for us to get married. Like, it wasn't like a simple decision. It wasn't like, oh, he was planning this for a long time. No, like, it was a lot of fasting and praying during this time, a lot of soul searching, a lot of like, is this what's the right thing to do? Is this what we should be doing? And I remember it was just so nerve-wracking for us, just because I'm just like, I don't know what this means. Does this mean like we're just going to get married just because someone told us to? But it was funny because I felt like God had been telling us for like months, at least 6 months, through 3 other couples, like, get married. Because he wanted us to get married, because the things he had for us, we couldn't receive unless we're married. Because a lot of things that I've learned in my marriage is that you can play house. That's fine. You can play house. Here's the thing, though. As you're playing house, you're not able to build the way you would if you're in a marriage. So, like, if you don't make that commitment to be with each other till death do us part, and this is like, you want God to be a part of it, then it becomes an issue, because now there's still a door that's open. Like, it's like being 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the relationship, which isn't the best thing, because it's like, okay, are you really here for me? I told my husband, like, I want to make sure I get married before I have a child, because I just feel like it is right biblically to get married first and then have children, because be fruitful and multiply comes after the covenant. And in order for you to have the covenant, you have to take your relationship out to God. This isn't about like a big wedding. It's not about you trying to, impress everybody or have the nicest dress or appearance. No, it's literally about you, your husband, and your man. I mean, God. So I've learned that if I didn't get married, there's a lot of things I wouldn't have learned to do. In the Bible, it says submit to your husband. I used to think that was a curse word. You have to submit to your husband, but we don't realize that in the Bible it's also saying that he has to love and protect his wife as Jesus did the church. And that also means dying for your bride. Now, people don't read that far enough, and they start thinking, oh no, like, women have to submit. Why do we have to submit? It's not about us having to submit to him. It's about us submitting to God and what his plans are for us. Because if you're a follower of Christ, you have to submit to God's plans. His plans for us is a lot better than what we can ever plan for ourselves. I'm coming. I'm gonna go ahead and feed her. I'm hoping these blueberries will help her out, because she hasn't gone poop in a couple days. Yeah, so like, after being in marriage, like, I realized here's the thing. First year of marriage is so difficult. If you haven't been married yet, here's one thing I found out once I got married. They always said the first year is the hardest because that's when you're learning how to deal with one another. That's how you're learning. You ready for another one? That was too fast. You have to learn how to deal with one another. You have to like merge your whole lives to one another with one another, and that's like a scary thing if you've never done that before. Because as an independent woman, you're gonna be like, oh, I got it. Like, no, you have to let your husband have it. Because here's one thing that I've learned. Another thing is you have to allow your husband to lead, especially if he's leading you to God. Like if he's not leading you to God, that's a whole other thing. But you have to let your husband lead. That's what he was created to do. He wasn't created to just sit there. Like he was created to lead. I'm gonna go ahead and feed another blueberry. He was created to lead. Oh, yeah, he was created to lead. He's created to provide. And if you're just providing for yourself, then like, okay, for example, when I was dating, I used to be like, I got it. Why doesn't a man want to be with me? Like, I literally pay my own bills. I take care of my stuff. I treat them out or whatever. Like, I got it. And then I would see them with these girls who don't got nothing and literally like, I guess the best word to say is like depend on them. I would say use, but the best word is depend on them. And they need to feel, they're creatures that need to feel needed. If you don't make them feel needed, why would they want to be with you? And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be independent, but that does mean there should be times where you should allow him to just be the man. Like, I understand if you're living in this 21st century idea of thinking like, oh no, everything should be 50-50, fine. If that's how you want to do it, that's cool. But there are some men who are wired to want to be needed, need to be needed, and want to just provide and be everything they can for their spouse and their family. I had to learn that the hard way with my husband, that I was too busy trying to fix our problems. I was too busy trying to make sure that everything was taken care of. I found our answers, like where like basically I was taking everything from him that he could learn from. Him being a man, like sometimes you have to let him take you through financial ruins, which is really sad to say because I could not fathom such a thing. Like, what do you mean you have to allow them to let us go through financial ruin? I don't want to go through that, but it's like, it's in those times where you're showing the trust in him. If you don't have trust in the man, how can he ever learn how to be a man? You have to teach him by allowing them to lead. I was trying to lead, and I wasn't created to lead. I was created to be a helper. It says in the Bible, we're created to be helpers of man because it's not good for man to be alone. Another part I've learned is that, I forgot if it's in Matthew, I'm pretty sure it's in Matthew and in Luke, that I read it recently. It was talking about how, because the Pharisees were trying to get Jesus in trouble, right? Because they're trying to say like, they asked him, hey Jesus, this one woman was married to her husband, he dies, and it was a tradition at the time for them to have their brother, if he had a brother, to marry the wife because they didn't have no kids yet. And then unfortunately he died, and then she had to marry the next brother in line. So it was like a pattern, right? So she had like 2-3 brothers that she ended up marrying. He's like, all right, Jesus, so who would she be together, or who would she be with in heaven? Like which husband? And the Pharisees were trying to get Jesus to say the wrong thing, because if he says any of them, then it's basically showing polygamy. He just wants one husband, one wife, and that's all it is. As he was answering, he was like, you guys are all wrong because there's no marriage in heaven. Now, I was kind of saddened because basically he said there's no marriage in heaven. If anything, like everyone's going to love one another and have a newfound relationship with one another that's deeper than marriage is what he was saying. However, for me, I was like, what? No. And I got sad. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not going to have my husband. What do you mean? Like, this is the only place that I'm going to be with my husband. Like, I waited all my life to get married just for him not to be my husband in heaven. Like, what is going on? Like, because some people have dope, like really, really dope relationships with their spouse where they're just like everything, they're best friends and everything. So it's like, you don't want to lose that in heaven. But I was watching Philip Anthony Mitchell, and is it Mitchell? Yeah. If I'm wrong, my bad. But I was watching him, and he was saying, in a nutshell, the reason why we have a spouse, the reason why their marriage is exist in the earth realm is because we were created to populate the earth so we can populate heaven. And how can we do that? By getting married and being intimate. The intimacy is not just for us to have fun as humans and like, woo, this is so fun. No, intimacy is so we can reproduce. That's why it's supposed to be a man and a woman who create babies on their own without any intervention. That's what it says. I'm sorry, you want another one? Give me 1 second. Anywho, so it's like and we're made to reproduce. And then by the time we get to heaven, we're not going to need to reproduce because we already have heaven that's populated with the people of the earth that has been created on their time on earth. And now there's no need for marriages. If anything, the relationship that we are supposed to feel with our spouse, the love, the intimacy, the understanding, the respect, everything that we look for in a marriage, we're going to find in one another in heaven, but far beyond what our minds can ever comprehend, because God has designed it in such a way where we'll find everything we need, but with true love of one another. And that's why they call us brothers and sisters in Christ, because we're all brothers and sisters in heaven. So that made me feel a lot better when he explained it like that, because I'm like, oh, okay, that's the purpose of marriage. Okay, that's the purpose of intimacy. I get it now. But when there's family, right, over here, and we all come from, let's just say me, my husband, and my child, and my 2 more children I'm going to have, right? Now, we're going to be so tight-knit as a family, we're going to want to, in a sense, be divided by other families who are not seeing eye to eye or aren't on the same level as us, because we're going to be like, oh, we're different. We have different morals. We have different understandings. We have different values. But ain't going to be like that. I think she's looking at my books. Ain't going to be like that when we're already in heaven. So, that being said, you should really enjoy your time with your husband. If you are a woman out here who's married, enjoy your time with your man, because you ain't going to be with him married-wise. You'll know of each other. Y'all still be cool with each other in heaven, but it's not going to be what it is now, where it's just you two against the world in a sense. So, enjoy him. Even when you're upset, I try to remind myself, now I'm working on it, but I try to remind myself too, girl, when you're mad at him, let it be. It's okay. You're not going to have to deal with him for the rest of your life. I mean, well, you are going to be dealing for the rest of your life, but eternity, he's not going to be your husband. It'll be nice if that was the case, but at least I could still have him in heaven, right? That's why I try to remind myself, it's okay. And we always try to get it over whenever we have an issue, it's not what it used to be. Marriage has taught us a lot. And another thing we've learned is we literally have to be equally yoked, which means we have to be on the same page on a lot of things. And me and my husband were. When we first got together, we both were living on our own. We both were smoking weed. We were both living with our dogs. And at the end of the day, it became one of the things that we were able to, he was attracted to me even more, because oh, you're like me, just the West Coast girl version of me. And I'm like, oh. So that's how he connected with me. He's like, you have a dog, I have a dog. They're the same age, the same color. Half of their breed is the same. And I just feel like this is like a match made in heaven. And that's how we connected. And slowly later on, we both started to go from the, hanging out, partying phase, to going to church phase, to turning ourselves completely to God, to surrendering all of our sins, all of our vices, all of our substances that we're abusing, like alcohol, weed, and any other type of drug. We both started giving it up at the same time. And I am happy to say we are about almost a year and a half, 2 years at the end of, I think in October, we'll be sober. Well, at least I'm completely sober. He hasn't been drunk either, so I can't even say anything. He'll have a beer here and there, but I have yet to drink anything. And I honestly feel like if me and my husband were not on the same page, it would have been very difficult for me to even get to this place. Sometimes he'll say oh, when you are done breastfeeding, you could drink. I'm like, no, I don't want to drink. 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 I don't. Stop asking me. I don't want to drink, because I was so addicted. It was something I was using as a way for me to escape my personal situations that I couldn't deal with, especially when I was younger. I used to think in my young 20s, oh, wow, how can anyone be sober? What is sober life? What is sober living? And I used to envy, in a way, these people who are able to enjoy life sober. When I was, hey, do you want to drink? They're like, oh no, I don't need a drink to have a good time. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Because I was so busy trying to run away from my reality that I just continued going into a realm where I was never sober. Now when I'm living my life, honestly, I'm so happy in my reality that I don't want to be under the influence. It's very rare where I'm under the influence. Sometimes I think for like in the last year and a half, so like in the last month, I did Nagona, which is kava, like 2 times, which is just to relax your body, and it's like a root, and they make it into powder and you put it in water. But I was able to indulge in that, and that doesn't do anything, but it relaxes your body and it gives you like the best sleep of your life. And I only did that twice, so sometimes I indulge in that, not very often. Like, I have so much left. It's very, very rare when I do it, but that's all I do if I do anything. And honestly, a lot of people, I feel like, are just running away from life and just saying it's fun, because I used to do that. I'm like, oh, I love drinking. I love the way it makes you feel. But do you really? Do you love the anxiety it comes with? Do you love the sluggishness that it brings? Do you love the tiredness it brings? Because when I was drinking and smoking, like, I would not do the things I'm doing now. I would not be creating any videos for YouTube because I was so busy just sitting on the couch and just chilling. Now, I was on autopilot. I would just chill. And I'm not saying that you can't be productive during your time of being under the influence, like like smoking. But at what point is considered dependency? Honestly, me and my husband would smoke every day, and there'd be times we were fiending for weed because we just could not deal. But now you can't get me under the influence at all. And that's something I feel like everyone needs to try to aim for in life, not having to depend on any type of substances, because the things that I'm able to do now, I'm able to not sleep in no more. Like, I can sleep in if I need to, but now I can actually get up, drink the green tea, chill. I'm not saying I couldn't drink tea before, but I'm just saying it's like now I'm like reading, I'm not under the influence, I'm not expecting to roll up or anything. Now I just go straight to the Word of God. I go straight into, drinking my tea. I write in my journal. I'll go ahead and do a video, basically, for YouTube, TikTok, and I'm just actually creating something in the reality that I live in. Then hopefully in like 6-7 years, I'm gonna be able to look back and be like, wow, I could have never done that, because if I was still smoking weed, I would not be able to. Absolutely not. I'll be chilling. I'll be watching TV, waiting for my husband to come home and be like, hey, let's go buy another Ace. Like, what kind of life is that? No life. And our finances were so bad, and we kept like spending our last on weed, and it was just not healthy. Now when you see us, oh no, like, we actually have some of our life a little bit more together. Are we perfect? No. Do we have all the money in the world? No. But are we able to maintain a little bit better? Yes. Are we able to build more type of things in our life, like careers that we're trying to work towards? Yes. And honestly, I didn't want to be a part of the church because I was too busy living in sin. And I knew there are certain things I had to let go of. But God says, come as you are. So we had to go as we are. There were days where we would drink all night on Saturday and go to church on Sunday. But we weren't living holy unless it was on Sunday. But after Sunday, we would go and smoke some weed. But honestly, that wasn't the way we should have been living. I'm going to go ahead and give her another blueberry. I'm over here going on a whole tangent. Yeah, I'm going on this whole 20-minute tangent about this whole life. But yeah, we lived a whole life. We did our dirt. We did our things. Like, not dirt, but we committed our sins. And it was a lot of learning in the process. And honestly, it wasn't until we got married that we didn't start making adult decisions, because we're like, okay, we have kids. And that's one thing I've always kept in mind. Like, when I have kids, I don't want them seeing me drunk. When I have kids, I don't want them getting used to the idea of mommy smoking. Like, no. Mommy smoking is no, you shouldn't be worried about mommy smoking. Like, you shouldn't know about that. I have some people in my life that I've known that let their kids know, like, that they're smoking, and their kids are like very, very young, under double digits, and they know about the concept of smoking because their mother's smoking or their father's smoking. And honestly, I just feel like that's one of the things I would never want to do. I feel like a child needs to remain in a child's place. I mean, yes, I knew my mom and dad were drinking, but I just feel like it's going to be something that they're going to think is acceptable, and it's something that they're supposed to do as an adult, because you're going to be like, oh, when I'm an adult, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But you're not living a life of example at that point. Like, I understand if you want to drink, if you want to drink at a party, socializing, like a beer or two, fine. But getting crazy drunk every day in front of them and smoking weed literally every second of every day right in front of them, like, I just think that's something that shouldn't take place. That's just my personal opinion. That's my stance on the matter. You guys can do whatever you want to do or have whatever opinion that you guys have. I'm entitled to my own opinion personally, and I just feel like a child should stay in a child's place. You shouldn't be telling your children about anything. And this, I've seen a couple of times with different people that are unfortunately, they're single moms, and they'll be telling their kids all about the men that they're dating or seeing, and I'm just like, that is not your friend. That's not your friend. That's your daughter. Your daughter's watching you do this. And if you're here bringing boy after boy after boy after boy, and you're crying and whining, and you're like, oh my God, he broke up with me. And then she's like, Mommy, why are you sad? And then you're sitting here and telling her all this stuff. I just think that that's ridiculous. What are you doing? Get it together. Like, get it together. I honestly just feel like that's the craziest thing you can do, because you're teaching your child how to be with a man. If that man that you're dating is not someone you should be dating, and they're over here coming over the house all the time, and you're over here allowing them to come and treat you however type of way, and they're not treating you like the way they should, girl, your daughter's watching you. Your son is watching you. They're seeing how a relationship is being set forth as an example. And if you're gonna keep doing that, then your kid is not gonna have the best situation in life, because you're too busy teaching them the wrong thing. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't think a child, especially when they're not old enough to understand the concept of dating, should have the idea presented in that way. Anywho, that was my little rant. That's just how I feel as a mother. So my advice to any mother out there who may be single, don't be bringing these men around your children. If I had to tell you that, then maybe there's a reason God has brought you to this channel, because you should not be bringing in just anybody, especially if you're a woman of God. I just feel like if you want your child to do right, you should never bring a man around who's not willing or ready to marry you, who's not even talking about marriage. Honestly, I feel like the only time y'all should be introducing the kids to that man is when you guys have already had the conversation that, hey, it's time to take it to that next level. And it's going to happen literally that year. Like, let me just go ahead. This is one of the last things I have to do before we go ahead and start planning the wedding type. Don't let your kids think that, oh, well, this man bought mommy a dinner, or this man bought mommy little basic necessities, or maybe like clothes or jewelry, whatever little stuff. Just because that man did something as basic as that doesn't mean that he's the one, okay? I don't know who got to hear this, but somebody got to hear this. He's not the one, okay? You're teaching your children that basic needs are being met equals marriage. No. Just because he's doing the bare minimum doesn't mean that he's worth it. And I don't think that you're going to be okay with that if you see that happening with your child. Whatever you're mimicking with this man right now that your child's going to mimic later on with another boyfriend, you're not going to like it. And then that's going to be God's way of saying, this is what you did. This is what you taught your children. So let's not do that. Okay, guys? Let's just keep it PG-13 with our kids. Let's just make sure that they're not doing anything crazy. I just feel that kids should stay in a kid's place. They should be modeled what a true marriage or relationship is, and they should understand the concept of marriage and why intimacy should not be introduced in life. I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't believe that any child should know what's going on between the mother and their significant other at the time that they're dating, and vice versa with their father and the significant other that they're dating. Though that should be so separate. That child should know nothing. That friend, that is like, you know how those parents are like, oh, he's just a friend, and the kid's like, I know he's not just a friend, but like, we're dating, but it's not that serious if he hasn't been introduced to you. I just feel that is very important, because these girls are learning from their mothers. So, moral of the story: keep those weird random men away from your children, and keep a child in child's place. That's simple. But again, you don't gotta take my word for it. But that's my personal opinion. Don't take it personally. Honestly, that's just how I feel. I would not want my child to see someone just treating me because I have low self-esteem in the most basic needs or basic ways, where I'm like, oh my God, he's everything. Now my child's gonna think any raggedy old dude can come around and be like, here's some flowers, let me take you out, let me buy you this little thing, let me give you a couple $100 here and there. No. No. Anyone could do that. No. Just no. Just no. Thank you.
You're welcome. For you.
Could I have a Sprite with strawberry and strawberry?
All right, we're adding more. This is the. We all in here, guys.
This is it.
Say it again. Say it
This is
again.
that angle that nobody expects.
I think you're supposed to get the feet there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's over. I need to make sure. Is it over?
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Honey, just go inside. Just go inside.
Huh?
Go ahead. Go inside and dance.
I'm a different man now.
Oh yeah.
Just made it. You just made it. Man, it's very peaceful.
That's very peaceful.
What a night. Hey, don't open the door. This is a date.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A date. A date.
My wedding date.
Okay, y'all. So the wedding was beautiful. Wow. It was beautiful. We were touch and go there. We're kind of late to pick up our daughter. Well, actually, the send off was like 9:55, and now it's 10:06. But they're around the corner. I just feel bad because they have work tomorrow early in the morning, and they say 7 o'clock is them sleeping in. So that should tell you what time do we go to sleep. Apparently, the baby's asleep, but I'm pretty sure they're probably holding her to sleep. So what we're gonna do is go pick her up. Oh, I just seen Dad and drive by. But anyways, beautiful send off. Honestly, it makes me feel like, why didn't I have a wedding right now? I'm thinking, okay, we'll do a renewal, but we're probably not gonna do the renewal until like we're 10 years in, and what? This is our 3rd year this year, so we got
5 years.
7 more years to go.
We'll see where God
7.
wants it. God's the only one who can determine that.
7.
Oh, I
7.
look like I'm sweating like bricks. That's crazy. You really got me out here like this.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go pick up our daughter now. Love y'all.
Peace, y'all.
What the heck, honey? We don't do pieces here. What?
I
No,
can-
what
I
is
can
this?
send
2007?
It is. I can
No,
send peace.
no. Wow.
Now you're shut up.
Wow.
I want us out of the driveway.
Let's go. Let's go.
Come on, mamas.
How was your day?
You had fun with Pop Pop and Gigi.
How was your day?
Yeah. You had a good time. I know you had some fun. I saw you playing around.
She acted like she didn't know you.
She acted like, are you just here to talk, or are you gonna...
Are you here to take me, or
Right.
you still gonna leave me here? You just dropping me off? Oh, sweet pea. I missed you. She like, did you really though?
Right. She said it actually looks like you had a great time.
Look at y'all, leaving me. I love you.